Stop commenting on people's bodies. Nobody asked, nobody cares. Stop commenting on people's bodies. Nobody asked, nobody cares. Again, stop commenting on
For the last few months, the UK has been in lockdown. For many, the internet has provided ways to find laughter amid the bleakness, especially with a meme or two. But there's one joke that could turn out to be pretty harmful. From before and after photos to have you gained the COVID-19? Jokes and memes about gaining weight in lockdown have been incessant. Plus, with more time video calling, on social media, and an increased focus on working out from home, it's no wonder we're all obsessed with our quarantine bodies. Almost as soon as the fat jokes started though, so too did the body positive community calling it out. So why are these jokes so harmful? I spoke to some of the biggest champions of self-love to find out.
Every single time I log onto social media or even turn up on the news, someone is making a joke about not being able to fit in their clothes after we leave this. And I've made posts about how those jokes aren't actually funny, they're fatphobic. And the biggest response has been, well, they're just jokes, what's the harm? I think people don't realise that a joke on top of a joke, on top of a statement, on top of an article, on top and it all just piles up and builds into this fatphobic belief system.
Megan runs one of the most popular body positive accounts on Instagram with over 1 million followers. She's well known for shaking it at a dance party and spreading body acceptance, especially during the pandemic.
I remember at the beginning of lockdown when this started happening, we were getting lots of posts through from Italy and what people were doing in their communities and people playing instruments on balconies. And I saw one thing that said, figure out what your instrument is and use it. And I think for me, my instrument is how I try to make people just be a bit kinder to themselves. And Instagram is the main place that I do that. So I figured I'm just going to carry on doing that, amplify it to match the level of anxiety we're all feeling, and do my best to keep putting out some comforting, reassuring stuff.
Grace Victory, a columnist and creator with a global audience, is helping us understand how fat phobia can seep into everyday life.
Fat shaming is the last form of discrimination that we are allowing. It's just banter until someone takes their own life. It's just banter until someone's got suicidal thoughts, or it's just banter until someone develops an eating disorder. And the social media lens, I think, is really hard sometimes for people to take seriously. They think that on Twitter or Instagram, it's just jokes. But unfortunately, those memes are of real people, They're of the day-to-day person that could be working for the NHS, could be, on the front line, and you're mocking them because of the way they look.
You wrote recently on your page that bodies forever change, but I'm grateful that mine keeps me safe. What did you mean by that?
People genuinely believe that they are not enough and they are lazy and all these connotations attached to the word fat if they don't lose the weight or use this time to be productive. We're in a pandemic and people's bodies and minds react differently. Some people naturally will lose weight because of stress. Some people will actually gain it. Why does it matter? We are so obsessed with the way other people look because we have ingrained that your self-worth is pinned on what you do, what you achieve, and what you look like.
Author and life coach Michelle Elman has also talked about how the lack of routine in lockdown may be adding to the increased focus on our bodies.
This increased pressure to work out and make sure your exercise routine is the same as it was prior to the pandemic is unrealistic because frankly, we're all stressed, we're all more exhausted than we normally are because we're having to process more emotions on a daily basis than we ever would need to prior to a pandemic. So if you're waking up every morning and finding that you're absolutely exhausted, but you're doing way less than you normally would, that's a completely normal response. And that's because we're going to have so much more stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol pumping through our body simply to just exist and survive this period.
Michelle has been taking to TikTok with her popular account Scarred Not Scared to truly normalise what lockdown life is like.
I think in a lot of my TikToks it's just about even subtle things like filming it without makeup, that it's okay to just be lounging around the house. It's okay to not be dressed up. You don't have to get dressed up to sit inside your house in a pandemic. All of those messages that, like, a lot of people aren't just worrying about weight, but people are worrying about that their grey hairs are showing because they can't get their hair done. And so those will bring up more insecurities.
So it seems like we could all stand to be a bit kinder to ourselves, ditch the food guilt, and question why we're so afraid of weight gain, even in a pandemic.
I think it's really indicative to how pervasive diet culture is, that we're all focusing on body image in a time when we're all kind of in crisis. There are way larger things in the world going on, and if the main thing you want to focus on is your body, it's largely because it's a coping mechanism, not because there's actually something wrong with your body.
What I don't agree with is allowing and living with just unkind thoughts about yourself all of the time. You haven't got to live like that. There's a life waiting for you if you would just stop trying to be small.